This is our very first show of Our Voice, and we're here at CenturyLink Arena. There's a lot going on here.
Including hockey.
Including hockey. Well, the whole idea of this show is to give a voice to the voiceless.
With content that counts, plus we are commercial free.
Yes, that means 28 minutes of uninterrupted dialogue with stories that matter to you.
So we thought we'd jump right into action with football. Not college football, but we have a Super Bowl champ, a Chicago Bears Super Bowl champ that lives right here in Idaho.
That's right, Tim Wrightman. So he's All-American academic, All-American athlete, NFL Super Bowl champ, Hollywood superstar.
An all-around good guy.
And he planted his roots right here in Idaho. So we had a chance to go up to his ranch and visit with him, did an interview. Let's take a look at what we found out. We're here with Tim Wrightman, and we thought we would do a day in the life of a Super Bowl champion, and we landed in Weiser, Idaho, on a ranch.
Of all places.
Of all places.
Yeah.
So, and I asked you, where did you grow up? And you said?
A small town south of here.
Yeah, and
that's
so
Los Angeles.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was going, you lived in Idaho? And you're like, no,
Yeah.
Los Angeles. You grew up in Los Angeles.
I did. And so you didn't say the name of my ranch. It's the Lazy Bear Ranch.
Lazy Bear Ranch.
And that comes from, I played at UCLA. I was a football player at UCLA, and they're the Bruins. And then I got drafted by the Chicago Bears, so there's the Bears. And then my ranch is named Lazy Bear Ranch. So how I kind of came up with that, besides my history playing football on the teams that are named Bears, is that, you know, when they have like the Lazy J Ranch or the Lazy B or whatever, so I figured Lazy Bear. But yeah, it's interesting how life takes you through this journey, and I've kind of reinvented myself. When I grew up 2 blocks from the beach. So I grew up on a surfboard, not on a tractor. So then I moved to Idaho, and now I've learned how to farm, I've learned how to catch gophers, and I've learned how to trap beavers, and I have a hunting ranch, and so it's quite a difference.
You kept adding, right. So it started with a house, then you added, what was the first thing that you added?
Well, 2 years after I built the house, I realized, I want to try this, this executive retreat centered around bird hunting. So then I had to remodel. Well, behind me was supposed to be a garage for a car, so then I had to make it into a kind of a lounge kind of area. Then I had to add a bathroom, and so then it's just kind of grown and grown as I've gotten more and more clients. When I first started doing the pheasant hunts about 5 years ago, I had about 20 guys out here. And then this year, 4 or 5 years later, I'll have almost over 300.
Is it posh hunting? I mean, when you say executive hunting,
well,
what is it like?
I think that you can have a clean space. What I try to do is make it as close to a wild bird hunt as possible without like all the trouble, you know. And so that's what's kind of appealed to people. I serve a great lunch. You know, it's a safe environment. They like watching my dogs work, or they can bring their own dogs out. And so it's just kind of grown. I've been lucky, and word of mouth has really been great.
So let's go to your acting career.
Okay. My acting career?
Your
okay.
acting career.
My acting hobby?
Your acting hobby. So tell us some parts that you played. I know you were on Baywatch. Right? And you were almost on Who's the Boss?
I was almost on Who's the Boss.
Yeah,
I was on Walker, Texas Ranger. Those shows in Hollywood, there was a couple of them where I'm almost 6'4", so the parts that I generally got as an actor was I either hit people, I got hit, or I was the guy that was gay, but you never thought he was gay. You know, those seem to be like my little niche. And so my friend was a director, and he tried to get me on Walker, Texas Ranger for the longest time, but he couldn't because that was an under 6 show. Only actors under 6 feet tall could audition for that show. Like Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, she was very tiny, like 5 foot tall kind of thing. So he gives me this part only because the fact that Chuck Norris was okay being in scenes as long as he was beating up people taller than 6 feet, so I got to get beat up.
You got beat up by Chuck Norris.
Right. Yeah. So, that's a claim to fame, Chuck Norris beating me up. But the only love scene that I ever got to do was with Sybil Shepherd, because she's actually very tall. So they got me, a tall, big guy, to make her look more petite.
Lieutenant, I have to warn you. Having sex with me is like nuclear war. When I'm done, there's nothing left standing.
Well, Captain, you'd better be ready for multiple warheads.
Now I saw, didn't you do a striptease too? sort of?
Yes, Rebecca, I did. We don't have to go down that road, do we? But actually, that was kind of a funny thing.
It was a dancing one, which you didn't do the Super Bowl shuffle, but you did a striptease.
Right. So I've done
for
more
Hollywood.
embarrassing things than the Super Bowl shuffle. Yeah.
Right.
But it was kind of interesting because that part, they had a guy named Fabio who was the Italian guy that's on the I can't believe it's butter kind of thing.
Right.
And they had hired him, but he had such a thick accent, Italian accent, they couldn't understand him for the show. So my first real big part, I had been doing commercials, and my first big part. So I go in and I audition, I get the part, I'm all excited, and then I'm reading the part and the whole script, and I go, and Thor walks in and starts doing his striptease. I'm like, I didn't know this character did a striptease.
So you were Thor with long hair,
doing a striptease, taking Fabio's part.
right?
Yeah.
Which was less embarrassing than the Super Bowl shuffle.
No, I figured, it was my first real acting job. I figured if I can get through this, I can do anything. And I've been pretty good about I've done some stand-up and I've done some really embarrassing things. So I'll do anything, almost anything for a joke.
So you're going to take us around and tour now, right?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
go.
This picture here was of me playing. We were playing the Green Bay Packers, and I love this picture because Jim McMahon's laying down here on the ground.
He's on the ground.
And then for once in his life, he's standing there watching me run. I mean, I was so slow that I had a better chance, as you can see, of trying to run over the guy than to run by him. So I figured if I could run over him, I had a better chance. This is my coach, the head coach of the Bears when I played, Mike Ditka. This is at training camp, pushing him on the sled. And the interesting thing about that was Mike Ditka was a tight end also. So whenever we would watch film, the first thing he would always look at would be the tight end position. So you either got his wrath or his praise.
Super Bowl trophy, also known as
The Lombardi Trophy.
The Lombardi Trophy, Vince Lombardi. Tell me a little bit. I mean, this is your personal one, right?
Right. Yeah. The teams give. This is a player's version of the Lombardi Trophy. So the one you see, after the game that the quarterback is usually holding up, or the team owner. It's about another third bigger than this one.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got some footballs here.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit. These are all your wins, it looks like. 46-10. Well, not all of them, but a few captured moments.
So what would happen is that Ditka, the head coach, after the game would award game balls to the offensive player of the game or the defensive player of the game. This is my first NFL touchdown reception, which was the only touchdown reception, which means that, you never even played in the NFL, and I only have one more touchdown than you do. So that's kind of sad.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking your entire day having us here and really showing us a day in the life of a Super Bowl champ. Who knew that you'd be out here in the middle of Idaho? I mean, really just creating a haven. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And I really love it. And the stories, I just feel like I walked through a historical museum of football. But you have threaded stories throughout your work here, and I think that's why it feels so peaceful and like home, because you've really done a great job just threading your life and sharing it. So thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I had so much fun being able to visit Tim up at his ranch.
Looks like you had a great time. He's got a huge spread. Seems like he does a lot for the community.
He does, and he does a lot academically for kids. So he goes out and talks to athletes about keeping their academic scores up, which I think is really powerful. It's
awesome.
a powerful message. So if you want to take a break and go visit Tim, go to his website, lazybearranch.com. You can find out more information there.